Pete, I've built out a new vSAN cluster, and I'm trying to decide whether I should use dedupe and compression, or neither.
So it's really going to depend on what your situations are. And first, before we go into what some of those factors are, let's just remind everybody with regards to vSAN, what these options are. It's a cluster-based service, and you can have one of the three choices, just as you mentioned: no deduplication and compression, or deduplication and compression combined, or just compression only. And the latter two are opportunistic space efficiency features. So you're striving to simply save more capacity. And these are really ideal for workloads and conditions where they have the opportunity to save you more space. So things like full clone VDI environments are really good. Some unstructured data, that can also be a great scenario for these cases like opportunistic space efficiency, whether it be deduplication and compression or just compression only. So then the question becomes, what's the trade-off? Well, when we do this space efficiency technique, we're doing it at the time of D stage to the capacity tier. Now, in those cases, there can be situations where if you have a lot of streaming writes, a lot of heavy write workloads, that process can eventually trickle back up to the guest VM. So in those cases, we advise that as a good starting point, when you're really focused on performance, start with just a compression only option. That's going to give you the best mix of getting some space efficiency while not impacting the overall performance of the VM.
So it sounds like compression only really should be my starting point. If I'm looking at this, if I've got any type of performance concerns, or I'm not in a unique scenario where I really think I've got a lot of duplicate data.
Yeah, you can offset maybe some of those concerns. Let's say you had a really high performing or highly spec'd vSAN cluster using all NVMe, for example, and you had some workloads that certainly were fairly taxing. You could certainly try deduplication and compression, and that would you would have a capacity tier that would be high performing enough to support that sort of a sustained write workload. But what we find with most of our customers and the common workloads out there, most of the time, deduplication and compression is really geared toward that, full clone VDI environment. And some corner cases, it's really best based off of the common configurations out there to go with something like compression only, because then it doesn't have to build out these hash tables and reference blocks and try to figure out if it's already been deduplicated or not. So it really saves a lot of computational effort, as well as some of the IO amplification that would occur.
Well, and I like that this space efficiency complements the other technologies, RAID 5, RAID 6, unmap and thin provisioning, reclaim technologies. So a lot of options here.